133693. Also, I want to hear from you too if you use AI. What do you use artificial intelligence for, and which form of AI are you using? Is it ChatGPT? Do you use Gemini? Perplexity? You would know that when you do a Google search these days, the first thing that comes up is an AI answer to your query. 133693. I'd love to know how common its use is. I generally tend not to seek its advice on things. I'd love to know if you do. 133693. Have you used it to settle arguments at home? The reason I ask, a clinical psychologist has written an article where he reveals that he's seeing a new pattern in couples therapy that he calls empathy botting. So you know what a bot is, it's short for a robot, obviously. Empathy botting happens when partners pass their feelings and relationship issues through artificial intelligence instead of talking directly to the person in which they're in a relationship. So one person vents to AI, has it explain how they feel, then sends that AI-written message to their partner. The partner then pastes that message into their own AI, adds their side of the story, and has it explain why they are so hurt. Then they send that reply back to their partner and the cycle repeats. It's as depressing as it could possibly get in terms of modern relationships. I want to know, have you done it? Would you do it? What do you use AI for? 133693. If so, do you have other ways of solving arguments with your better half? What do you argue about? How are arguments settled? 133693. Professor Michael Cowling from the School of Computing Technologies at RMIT joins me now. Good afternoon, Professor.
Afternoon, Tony. How's it going?
Well, I want to know if you were having an argument with Mrs. Professor. Is this something you would use?
Her official title is Mrs. Tech because I'm Professor Tech.
Okay.
I think that would be relationship limiting, Tony. And I think it is because it's not. Yes, it's not real, right? It's a little bit fake. It's a little bit too polished. And I think when we're doing this kind of thing, I think we need to share our genuine feelings. And the AI shaves off those rough edges, but maybe we need those rough edges.
Yeah, look, I get the point, but I also get that if you are trying to understand your partner's point of view, instead of bothering a friend with it because you may be embarrassed by having to reach out to a friend, and depending on what the nature of the argument is, AI gives something approaching sentience, doesn't it? So therefore could give us at least an informed perspective on the subject of the argument?
Definitely, or work as a sounding board. And actually, you've gotten very quickly to the nut of the thing, which is that treating it as an expert is often where we get into trouble. So if you're asking it to polish your words, you're expecting it to give you the final result. But if you're just talking to it, that's fine. And in fact, I've done some research with a colleague where we identified that does make people feel better. You just need to be careful not to treat it like an expert.
Okay, but have you noticed, let's say, a surge or an increase in people turning to AI for emotional support or as therapy because therapy is expensive? Is that something that is occurring as far as you know?
It definitely is. People will talk to the AI as a therapist, and it can be a little bit dangerous. And you might have seen some articles about people talking to AIs and AIs encouraging them to do dangerous things, and we don't want that. But it's an interesting line to draw because, as you said, if you've got nobody else to talk to, then it makes you feel good to have somebody to talk to. The concern is when it starts to give you advice, and I'm not sure the machines are nuanced enough yet to be able to pat you on the shoulder without actually giving you bad advice.
We are getting to that point, though. I think there's an ever-shrinking window where it will achieve self-awareness, isn't there? And in that case, then maybe we can contemplate turning to it for advice. The problem being, if you're dealing with being in love with somebody, AI has never been in love, so it's a bit difficult to give a perspective on that if you've never, experienced anything human.
That's right. I'm not going to get into talking about whether the machines will eventually be sentient, Tony. Although if the machines are listening, yes, we all love you, machines.
And when we love them, and they do
um,
great work, and we hail our new
yes.
masters. Yes, no, we definitely do
hail
that.
our new robot overlords.
Yeah,
exactly
thank
right,
you.
Tony.
Ken Brockman.
But I do think I think it's a way off. We need to remember that these machines tell us what they want us to, what they think we want to hear.
Yeah.
It's about persuasion. It's not about truth telling. And even as we refine the systems to be better at doing that, there is still that element of just telling you what you want to hear and not so much the truth. Hallucinations are always going to be a thing. A colleague calls them confabulations. I won't use the other term he uses because we're on live radio. But I don't know that we're ever going to get past that. So I think as long as you realise that it's gonna make stuff up.
Yep.
It's going to hallucinate. You can still use it as a tool to make you feel better. Just don't use it as a psychologist. Go and see a real psychologist.
Very wise advice. 133693. What have you used AI for? What sort of problem solving have you relied upon it for? 133693. There was a case in the US recently of a lawyer, and it's now all through law that AI written submissions containing false precedents of just completely made up cases. Where are you seeing AI used, Professor? How adaptable is it as a modern day instrument?
Look, I think it's funny. It's been 3 years and I think we're still trying to work out what it's most useful for. And so far, what I think it is really good at is brainstorming and thinking things through and serving as sort of a sounding board, even for stuff that's not psychology, just writing an article or whatever it might be. The challenge is that you need to use your own evaluative judgment at the end, right? You need to look at what's coming out of it and say, does this make sense? And our lawyer friends that you're talking about needed to look at it and say, do these precedents actually exist? Is the argument that this is making the right kind of argument that I actually want it to make? So it's fine to talk to it. It's fine to bounce things backwards and forwards as long as you evaluate the result at the end. It's called evaluative judgment. So you have your own evaluative judgment.
That's a very good point, because we're seduced very easily into thinking it's omniscient, that it knows everything because it's attached to 1,000,001 computers and can crunch, so much data and that it's smarter than us. So that's your rule of thumb for approaching AI, is that it is fallible after all. Is that what you mean?
It is 100% fallible because it's this. Just imagine this, Tony. All of the stuff that it has slurped in is all of the knowledge of the world. And whilst there's some expert knowledge out there, there's also a whole bunch of confabulations as well. And so when it's using that knowledge to build something for you, it's going to share with you whatever it thinks you want to hear. And it doesn't know whether it's right or wrong, truth or lie. It just picks up the thing that is most common, most likely to answer your question, and gives you that response.
And it brings us full circle to an argument with a better half. And if you're like me, your wife rarely tells you something that you want to hear, which is, to me, the substance of a good marriage. Professor Michael Cowling from the School of Computing Technologies at RMIT University. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
That's awesome, Tony. Great to talk to you. Thank you.
133693, 133693. AI, what do you use it for? What would you like to use it for? Tell me about how you solve arguments in your house as well, hopefully by not reaching for your computer. I don't think that's a good precedent, although I'd love to be guided by you on this. 133693. It is 22 minutes past midday.